Here we go. All right. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to this exciting event. We are thrilled to have you here today as we gather to rally together for a cause that is very close to our heart.
Joanne,
Joel, can you mute, please?
Joanne.
Can we mute him, s'il vous plaît? Haitian for Kamala is for a brighter future for the Haitian diaspora in Haiti. Your presence here today is a testament to the importance of the cause and the collective power we hold to make our voice heard, our vote matter. I want to take a moment of acknowledgement to thank each and every one of you for being here. Your support and participation make this rally possible, and we are deeply grateful for your commitment to support our brothers and sisters in Ohio. When we vote for Kamala this year, we take a stand to say no to injustice and disrespect toward Haitian people. But before we dive into this day's agenda, I have the distinct honor to introduce to you someone who will guide us through this incredible journey, someone with a true passion for bringing people together. Please join me in giving a warm welcome to our MC, Pastor Jennifer Joseph. Let's clap for her and show our appreciation. Thank you so much for your time, Pastor Jen. Thank you, everyone, and let's have an incredible rally. Take it away, Pastor Jen.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Irma, and good evening, everyone. It is my honor to welcome you to this important gathering tonight where we stand united for change and for the future of our communities. As we are together tonight under the banner of Haitians for Kamala Harris, we do so with a deep understanding of the power of our collective voices and the importance of every single vote. This virtual rally is about more than just one candidate. It's about empowering ourselves, our families, and our future generations to make sure that our concerns are heard and our issues are addressed. We have an incredible speaker tonight who will guide us through key issues we face and inspire us to take action. And so without further ado, I'd like to introduce our keynote speaker for this evening, who is someone who truly understands the importance of our vote. I'm going to read just a small portion of his bio. Numa St. Louis has dedicated his life to public service, community advocacy, and political activism, serving as a seasoned professional in various roles, including director, founder, and advisor. With a passion for positive change, Numa has led efforts for humanitarian aid organizations, nonprofits, elected officials, and political action committees, uniting diverse coalitions to drive legislative transformations that empower communities. Please welcome Mr. Numa St. Louis, who is going to be our keynote speaker for tonight. Numa, welcome.
Thank you so much, Pastor, for having me. Thank you to Irma and the organizers of this event. It's a pleasure to be here with you on this rally. Je vous une grosse salutation à tout Haïtien qui a écouté me venir aujourd'hui, quel que soit côté où il est. L'important pour nous organiser, nous, pour nous faire connaître que nous là comme une communauté. Comme nous connaissons, une élection qui a commencé à démarrer déjà, mais une élection qui a fait par moi ici, in a couple of weeks, dans quelques semaines, et nous avons intérêt pour nous participer dans le processus électoral là. C'est pour cela que nous sommes content de l'invitation ça, pour nous faire un petit chita parler avec membres de la communauté, moi un pile leader là, un pile monde qui participait dans activités civiques, non seulement à Philadelphia, mais quel que soit côté yoye. Jean bagay la hier, nous pensons que communauté haïtienne, nan, pas bon ici là, nous en bas en pile pression. Yon candidat yo fait connaître que li pas accepté ou bien li pas d'accord présence nous pas bon ici. Nous tous connaît parole que il dit déjà et nous qu'un famille nous, monde que nous connaît qui pas bon ici comme immigrant, soit parti PR, ou bien soit dans programme baden nan, monde sa yo en danger. Non seulement ça tout, gen l'autre aspect que je pense que qui est important pour nous-mêmes comme communauté. L'arrivée sur question éducation, par exemple, nous regardons l'agenda monsieur, il totalement contre ça nous croit. Grand pile dans nous, a lot of us, nous venons ici, nous croyons dans l'éducation, nous investissons dans l'éducation et monsieur, d'après agenda, il clair à travers un projet que le projet 2025, qui est très expressif au point de vue de plateforme, vision pour le pays. Il y a un département que li compté pour les défendre, retirer l'argent là-dedans, c'est affaire éducation. Et nous connaissons que nous mettons plus d'importance dans l'affaire éducation. L'autre aspect, je pense, qui est réellement important, c'est au point de vue de santé. Mais même dans le cas même, parents ont commencé à rentrer dans l'âge, côté que Medicaid, Medicare est très important. So, nous voulons qu'il y ait un programme social qui est très important à nous-mêmes parce que santé c'est un bagage qui concerne nous toutes. Et le fait qu'il y a parlé pour réduire l'investissement dans la santé, c'est un bagage qui concerne en pile. En pile, nous bénéficions de programmes tant que Social Security, programme social au point de vue de Medicaid, Medicare, Social Security, tout bagage ça a à voir avec protection sociale qui kembe nous comme société. Et là, nous regardons des bagages qui important à nous-mêmes comme nos communautés. Nous pensons que c'est réellement important pour nous participer dans le processus là. So, m'invite tout le monde pour faire tout ça qui est capable, non seulement pour même pour aller voter tout, mais pour rassembler mon lakayo, voisins, famille pour aller voter. Parce que tout bagage que ou quoi là-dedans, tout bagage que ou remet sous badet là. Capable de deux monde sous badet là, mais non mon yo représente ton bagage, yo représente un agenda. Et agenda ancien président Trump là, je pense qu'il est totalement contre intérêt nous comme société au point de vue de progrès que nous voulons faire. Nous participons en pile par rapport ici dans la création pays. Nous connaissons l'histoire, nos contributions à ici par rapport ici. Martin n'a pas parlé avec papa, côté que c'est peut-être Haïtien qui fait pays aussi large que lui, je dis, à travers Louisiane. Là, nous regardons que grande ville de Chicago, sont Haïtiens qui font des Haïtiens étaient bataille dans la lutte de révolution par rapport ici. So, nous avons une longue histoire par rapport ici dans le pays. Et nous contribuons dans pile secteur par rapport ici. Nous avons une présence qui est réellement incroyable. Et malgré tout ça que nous faisons, nous voyons que il y a des gens qui veulent dénigrer nous, qui veulent dégrader nous. Et il est important pour nous camper, pour nous dire comme ça que non, nous sommes monde, non, que nous avons un rôle pour nous jouer là, et pour nous porter support by, non seulement Haïtiens par rapport ici, mais aussi tous Haïtiens qui l'accueillent en Haïti. So, nous avons un devoir civique pour nous participer. Nous avons un devoir non seulement pour ancêtre nous, comme nous connaissons, nous sommes gros peuple, nous faisons histoire déjà. Et communauté haïtienne n'est pas bon ici, surtout frères noirs qui sont en Ohio, ils ont en pile pression. Ce n'est pas deux personnes qui ont brûlé. Peut-être menti que bah, soi-disant haïtien manger chat, manger chien, l'école fermée, moun sa yo en pile menace. Peut-être moun a menti non seulement qui réellement raciste, mais aussi tout qui mettait moun sa yo dans position côté vie en danger. Et toute raison ça, je pense que souligner raison qui nous-mêmes qui capable de participer dans le processus électoral à travers voix nous pour nous participer. Mais aussi tout gain l'autre façon pour nous participer tout gain ça pasteur Jennifer a fait ça il m'a fait à côté que il a créé conditions pour nous venir ensemble pour nous échanger idées pour nous connaître qui nous tous carré l'autre qui gens que nous tous qu'a fait un effort pour nous soulever la communauté haïtienne. Nous connaissons que l'élection sera très proche, surtout nous-mêmes qui habitons par ici dans Pennsylvania. Nous pensons que c'est Pennsylvania qui va décider l'élection. Hein. Entre 50 États, Pennsylvania, c'est l'État clé. Et nous, on ne peut pas regarder la télévision parce que chaque fois qu'on regarde la télévision, chaque 2 secondes, on réclame. Tellement que je connais que Pennsylvania, c'est l'État qui pique clé, c'est l'État qui est plus important dans l'affaire élection présidentielle. So, voyons réellement important. Élection commencée déjà, au point de vue de monde qui est capable de voter à travers mail-in ballot, ou même qui est intéressé pour connaître que qui gens ont participé au Gouvernement les moins, il m'a pasteur Jen en compte qui gens pour contacter moi tout. Nous avons parlé avec Ilma dans ce semaine, côté que nous devons faire connaître que campagne vice-président Harris là, t'es contacté moi, côté que il a cherché monde qui peut travailler pour eux pendant la saison électorale là, Ilma capable de partager l'information ça avec nous. Nous-mêmes qui sommes intéressés pour nous travailler dans la campagne, nous avons opportunité. Encore une fois, je ne vais pas parler trop, je vais parler mon occasion si vous avez une question pour vous poser. Mais je fais un gros appel à tous les Haïtiens. M'a applaudi l'effort que nous faisons par ici pour nous faire connaître que nous là, nous là, n'a plus été, n'a goumé et m'a invité nous toutes pour nous voter, pour nous participer dans l'élection électorale qu'a faite par ici très prochainement.
Wonderful. Merci un pile, Nouma, pour toute parole ça qui est réellement important. Donc, Jean nous m'a dit, nous pourrons entrer dans une phase côté que nous voulons recevoir questions que nous gagnons. So it's time to open up the floor to you. We want to hear your thoughts and your questions, and we want you to feel free to share your perspective on the issues that were mentioned tonight. And so I'm going to pause for a second. If you have a question, you can feel free to come off of mute to ask your question, or you can put it in the chat and we can read the questions for you.
I wasn't sure if we had non-Creole speakers, so I spoke in Creole. So, I'm happy to speak English.
Sure, no worries. I try to go back and forth.
There you go. There you go.
My Creole is more Kringlish, if anything. And so as you guys kind of think about your questions, I'll put a question out there, Numa. The first one, and you kind of spoke a little bit about some of the very important issues that matter to us as a Haitian community. But what would you say are some of the most important issues facing our community in particular today that voting would help address?
Well, I think there's a host of issues that are impactful to our community. I mean, when you think about civil rights, for example, is really, really important. The ability for people to have dignity, to be able to vote. Voting rights is also on the ballot. Women's rights is also on the ballot, right? A woman's ability to make her own decision, to have control over their body. There's a movement afoot in this country that is seeking to take this country far to the right. And I think it's a dangerous, dangerous slope that puts a lot of the interest, a lot of the hard-fought gains that we made over the past 50 to 60 years. When you think about issues like affirmative action, for example, right, to diversify the workplace, universities, school, all these things are on the ballot. There's been a major pushback around DEI, diversity, equity, and so forth, whereby they want to do away with that, right? Books, for example. There's some folks that would have books banned in libraries because they don't like the content. So I think we are in a situation where we're facing people that really seeks to undermine our interests, that wants to take us back, right? And we can't take it for granted, right? I tell people, especially Black people, like when you get in a bus now, or you go to the movies, you get to sit wherever you want, right? That didn't happen by accident. People fought for that, right? People actually have to fight for that, right? You can go to a restaurant or on a counter and you get to do what you want as you please. That wasn't sort of like guaranteed. People fought for that. And we know that the civil rights movement, right, in the civil rights bill gave birth to that freedom. There are some people that are seeking to roll these rights back. And all these things are on the ballot. So again, I think it behooves us to organize, to participate, and to sort of like push back against those that will sort of like bring us back to a different era.
Thank you. You mentioned something when you were speaking about how the state of Pennsylvania is a very critical state in terms
Right.
of deciding who our next president will be. And echoing what you just said about how there are privileges that we are getting to enjoy in the United States, and those privileges are the direct result of the work that our predecessors, right, put in, understanding the importance of voting and getting involved. Can you speak more to how crucial it is, particularly for those living in Pennsylvania, for us to vote? Because quand pile Haitien qui dit m'pa voter parce que vote moi pas compté, right? Vote lan pa gen aucun effet sous élection, hein? But we saw 4 years ago that that actually wasn't the case. Like Philadelphia
Right.
really decided the election. So can you speak a little bit to that for folks who might not really understand what that means?
Right. So in the United States, as we know, it's a very, very big country, right? So each sort of like state has its own election, and we have the electoral college. And to become president, you have to win 270 votes, electoral votes. And each state, depending upon their size and population, has a number of electoral votes, if you will, right? And the candidate that reaches 270 obtains the presidency. So even before the election starts, based upon these states' tendencies, leanings, we're able to sort of like say, you know what, a state like Texas, we pretty much know they're going to go red or Republican, right? A state like Alabama, you know, will probably go red. A state like Mississippi, just because traditionally, you know, we have a sense in terms of how they vote, right? Or a state like New York or California or Connecticut will go blue. So these states, we can pretty much sort of like put them in a category, be it red or blue. However, there's about 5 or 7 states, they call them blue states, or purple states, if you will, purple states, I'm sorry, whereby they can go either way, right? They can go either way, and we don't necessarily know how they'll sort of like vote, right? So these states are the sort of like the key states in terms of who eventually wins. And you have Arizona, for example, is one of them. Nevada is another one. Michigan is another one. But Pennsylvania is the biggest one out of all of them, because out of all the sort of like battleground states, Pennsylvania is the biggest one, and it has the most sort of like electoral votes, right? So you have sort of like 40 or 43 states, even before the election starts, that we already know how they're going to vote. And these remaining states sort of like are up in the air in terms of like, you know, how they'll vote. So you'll see the candidates sort of like focus on those states because, you know, the outcome is unknown. And they essentially will play the decisive role in electing the next president. I hope I was able to answer your question.
Absolutely. You did answer my question. Thank you so much for that explanation. We do have a question in the chat. Which strategies or arguments have you found effective in addressing concerns among Haitians who are disillusioned with the Democratic Party due to the Clintons and their perceived impact on Haiti's current situation?
Well, thank you for that question. That is a true concern. A lot of Haitians are very disappointed in the role that the Clintons did play in Haiti. It was not a constructive role. And I would argue their actions have been detrimental and are being felt today, right? Be it sort of like rigging elections, picking winners and choosers. They've actually sort of like, you know, put Haiti in a path to undermine Haiti's progress. And I think those concerns are legitimate. And Haitians should be upset about those things. And I for example, I'll use my platform to express the concerns of Haitians, and I think that we can't shy away from that. You know, we have to be honest about not just the Clintons. I think overall U.S. policy vis-a-vis Haiti traditionally have not been constructive. That's my personal view on these things. But it's not going to change unless we're at the table. It's not going to change unless we're participating in the process and letting people know that, hey, us as Haitians, we believe that U.S. policy vis-a-vis Haiti needs to change. And we need to be having these conversations now, not when they're elected. I totally agree with the question. I think the Clinton role in Haiti has been counterproductive, has not sort of like been good for us. And I think that's something that Haitians are rightfully upset about. Now, I'm not sure a Republican sort of like administration does any better. For my sense is that us as Haitians, we have to advocate for a change, for a review of U.S. policy towards Haiti. Okay? So, traditionnellement, politique américaine vis-à-vis Haïti, c'est même pour la un docteur, right? Un docteur pour une condition, mais de jour en jour, on va venir plus mal. Et c'est même docteur qui dit qu'on ne va pas guérir. C'est comme ça, moi, politique américaine vis-à-vis Haïti. Et je pense que approche là, c'est pour nous demander pour y rebattre. Parce que c'est approche là qui parle. C'est politique là qui parle. Bon, c'est pour cela que je pense que l'important pour nous contacter membres congrès, pour nous contacter sénateurs, pour nous participer dans le procès électoral là. Parce que bah, il n'y a pas changé, sinon je serais été croisé bois, dit, que nous pas faire rien. So, je believe dans la capacité nous pour nous porter amélioration.
Michelle Obama says, do something.
There you go. There you go.
That's
Yes.
right. Do we have any other questions? We know we have amazing thought leaders on the call. We would love to hear what questions you have so that we can take advantage of this space together.
If I may, the other thing that I think that is very important that I want to underscore is in the project 2025 is a written agenda that talks about what they hope to do. One of them is to raise the retirement age, right? Mm-hmm. So you imagine somebody that sort of like worked all their lives, and when it's time to retire, they're telling you, hey, you may have to retire at 70 or 72, right? And the safety net is no longer there. So all these things we have to pay attention to in terms of how these things impact us. Global warming is something that's real. Some of us may have family in Florida. You see how the weather is sort of like really, really being destructive down there. The changing climate is something that we have to pay close attention to. I like to think that we have an obligation to live the earth or the environment a little better than we found it. So we have to save the environment. And you have people that are anti-science that don't believe that global warming is real, right? They just want to exploit the land, right? Drill, right? Get the resources, deplete the earth, right? All these things, right, have an impact. If you look at the ocean, for example. So all these things are important that we care about. And I'm not here to say that Democrats have all the answers or making excuses for their past behavior. I am not. What I'm saying is that we have a binary choice, which is former President Trump and Vice President Harris. And when we predispose these two people, we put them side by side, there's a world of difference, right? There's somebody that we know at least is going to listen to our community. That's not going to denigrate our community. That's not to say we're always going to agree with her, but we know that she's qualified, right? She's one of us, right? Her father is Jamaican, which is a neighbor of Haiti, right? She was a district attorney, right? She's the daughter of immigrants, right? Whereby Donald Trump was born on third base, right? He's the son of a billionaire who wouldn't rent his property, his home to Black people. And some of us may be old enough to remember that, back in the 90s, he took a full-page ad against 5 Black kids, innocent Black kids, and said that they deserve to die because it was alleged that they had committed a crime. It turns out they were innocent, and he never apologized for it. So, like Maya Angelou always used to say, when someone shows you who they are, believe them. And this man has showed us who we are. He is a cold-blood, racist, misogynist. Okay, don't take my word for it. Okay, I mean the courts have said so. And the double standard and the hypocrisy that we see is really, really appalling. So for me, I want to encourage my community to take a stand, to participate. And I know a lot of my people have reservations with the Democratic Party. I do as well. But I think that, in this situation, it's not even a close call.
I really appreciate that last comment, Numa, about just sort of acknowledging that there are a lot of Haitian people who have concerns with the Democratic Party, because I think those of us who have already made up our mind that, Trump is the worst thing for our country, we don't need convincing, right?
Yeah.
But there are folks who are really genuinely on the fence about how they should vote. And, somebody mentioned the Clintons, which, is, as you said, a reasonable concern. But can we speak to the concerns that folks have about this administration in particular and the reservations that they have about voting, and sort of give ease to those concerns? I think I've heard multiple people say that they were concerned about the fact that Biden announced that he's discontinuing the Biden program, right? For Haitians. And so that might be one of the concerns that they have. But can you just speak a little bit to what the concerns that Haitians genuinely have, thinking about the assassination of our president under sort of Biden's administration and all of these various things? How can we speak to those concerns and really encourage them that it's in their best interest to vote blue in November?
Right. I mean, immigration is a big part of the conversation this year around the election. And we have to understand, when we hear immigration, what does that really mean? Not just for us in this country, but it has significance. It has ramifications from a political and policy standpoint. What we're seeing is a shift in demographics in this country, whereby we're seeing an increase in minorities, for example, and that is making a lot of, frankly, white people uncomfortable to see the country shifting in terms of its demographic. And I think there's a lot of people that are uneasy about the shift of demographic, and that are panicking about the shift of demographic. We're seeing an increase in the Spanish population, for example. So the white population is shrinking, and that is really sort of like at the heart of the anti-immigration movement led by Trump. Now, with respect to the humanitarian parole program that Haitians call the Biden program, it was never intended to be there forever, right? I mean, or even TPS, for example. I like to tell people the T in TPS means temporary, right? So it's not meant to be perpetual forever.
Yeah.
So we have to understand that. I think that a lot of Haitians have benefit for it. I mean, not everybody who applies is going to be able to get in from a practical standpoint. And I think the administration faced a lot of pressure in terms of slowing down, especially in an election year where there is this anti-immigrant sentiment, to sort of like slow down the number of people that are coming in. But it's just not Haitians. There are sort of like folks from Venezuela that are subject to the same sort of like rhetoric against them. I think what I've heard Biden and Kamala say is a comprehensive approach, right? So, for example, what Trump is seeking to do, for example, is to have mass deportation, right? So, one thing that I see, especially here in Philadelphia, I'll give you an example, is because we have so many universities here in Philadelphia, we have a lot of people throughout the world that come here to study. Okay, they come here, on a student visa, for example, and their visa expires, right? And they become sort of like illegal because the visa was for X amount of time, and that time expired, right? It perished, right? So people who came here very young, who came here at 5 years old and didn't know that they had certain papers, right? They become sort of like illegal because their paperwork is not in order. People like that will be subject to deportation under Trump. People who CPS is that issue will face deportation under Trump. He's talking about massive deportation of people, which is very, very, very dangerous, not very sort of like humane. If not, they're the proper way to deal with it. And I think Trump will deal with it in a manner that's really, really harsh in terms of banning people, humiliating people. I think that there are certain things that we can do to try to protect people from a legal standpoint, but I think we have to be very, very careful with his rhetoric. I think he means what he's saying. It's very, very dark. It's gotten darker over the past few days. So I think that a lot of our compatriots are in danger if Trump wins again. And I think that we need to do everything we can do to make sure that he doesn't get back in the White House.
Thank you, Numa. It's so important. Immigration, as you said, is very important and an issue that Haitians, right, are very concerned about. And when you said when someone shows you and tells you who they are, believe them, it's important for us to remember how Trump was as a president, right? When he actually was in office and the horrible conditions that children, Mexican children, students under the DACA program, that they
The DACA program,
suffered.
exactly.
Yes. And so he will definitely keep his word. And it's something that we certainly should not take lightly, as sons and daughters of immigrants in this country. Are there any questions for Numa? Please feel free to add your questions in the chat. You can come off mute if you have questions. Is there another one in the chat?
I think it says Clintons are the past, Kamala's the future. Local election are so important, and state representatives. Here's another thing. I think when we vote, we don't pay attention to not the men elections. We only vote for the main election. We don't go vote for the local election when it's not November. So can you touch on that for us, Numa?
Yeah, I mean, they say all politics are local, right? So, again, it's not just about the presidential or federal elections that are important. Local elections are really, really important as well. Like who represents you at the city level and city council? Who represents you in the state legislature, your state rep, your state senator? All those things matter because they play a role, right, in the government. So, being civically engaged is important as a community to know who are these people that represent us. And we have to vote. We have to participate in the process. They say if you're not at the table, you're on the menu. So I agree with this person that says that we have to participate at every level of the process, at the city level, state level, and federal level. Because when you think about sort of like our schooling, that's handled at the city level. Crime, city level, right? There's a whole host of stuff that impacts us on our day-to-day lives that is really, really sort of like at the city level and also at the state level. I think all three branches are important, right? We just can't pay attention to one while we sort of like forget about the others. We have to participate in every aspect of the process.
There's another one. Thank you so much for that. Raymond says Bush already raised the retirement age to 70 for the millennials. I didn't know that. and those who come after that. So, kounye la, for the millennials, I guess I'm not a millennial, mka retire à 65 ans.
Well, Billy, when I think of what we call the social safety, right? Il y a trois législations, trois lois qui réellement importantes, qui sont dans les années 60, qui réellement protègent un peu le monde, surtout le monde qui est âgé, grand monde. Parce que avant Medicare, ou bien Social Sécurité, nous avons pile monde qui vient âgé, leur vie prend retraite, peut-être qu'ils n'ont pas de travail, ils n'ont pas de income, ils n'ont pas de l'argent, ce monde ça mourir dans la pauvreté. Parce que ils n'ont pas de capé pour gaz, pour manger, pour médicaments. So, c'est loi ça qu'on y a qui voulait réduire ou bien retirer notre budget. Ce loi ça est réellement important, surtout nous-mêmes qui sommes parents. Encore une fois, je voulais souligner encore, Social Security, pas vrai? Medicare, Medicaid, you're réellement important for the social sort of like safety net. Right? Sans programme ça, avec grand pile monde, pas vrai, qui prennent des conditions déplorables. Pas vrai? Programme social, ça est réellement important. Et ça, républicain a planifié, c'est que vous voulez réduire le budget dans le programme ça. Soit disant que vous pas efficace, soit disant que les immigrants ont souci dans l'argent ça. Les gens qui pas mérité le programme, prend avantage de eux-mêmes et ils veulent couper le programme. Et nous, le programme ça, si nous regardons le nombre de temps que le programme ça là, environ 60 ans, nous voyons que il réduit le nombre de monde qui est en pauvreté, il fait plus de monde vivre plus long et il va plus de monde santé. Ce programme social ça est réellement important et il veut couper ou bien réduire là-dedans. Nous-mêmes, nous disons non. Donc, nous voulons investir dans le monde, nous voulons investir dans la jeunesse, nous voulons créer plus d'opportunités.
Absolutely. Thank you, Numa. We have a couple more comments in the chat. Alan said, yes, it is important to be civically engaged and informed. There's a lot of purposeful misinformation going around about the election. This is, Numa, when we think about the rumors that were being spread about Haitian, despite the fact that the rumors were debunked by several people, including politicians who are in Ohio, can you speak to how incredibly important it is for our leaders, political leaders, to be individuals of integrity who actually believe in truth and not lies, and how dangerous it is when we allow those lies to be spread?
Yeah, thank you for that. I was talking to someone earlier about this. I have 2 young daughters. I have a 5-year-old and a 3-year-old. And I think about sort of like the values I try to instill in them, right? To be a good person, to tell the truth, not to be a bully, right? Things that all our parents taught us. And when you sort of like look at President Trump, you're like, oh my goodness, who raised this guy, right? He's just not a good person. There's no decency there. There's no morality there, right? And you're just like, you just have to shake your head to say, oh my goodness, lie after lie, and there's no shame in it. And I think he's a bad representation. I think we can do better, irrespective of your politics, be it you're conservative or however you may feel about certain stuff. But at the core of it, I think, to your point, truth matters, decency matters, morality matters. And I think these things are also on the ballot. Right. So especially for us that are raising kids that think that, there's an obligation to be to have integrity. Right. Those things really matter. With respect to the situation in Ohio, not only is it deeply hurtful, but it's increasingly dangerous because those lies have ramifications. You have the KKA, for example, right, which is a racist institution, violent terrorist group that are rallying, that are organizing around that, right? So he knows what he's doing. He's fueling the racism. He's giving air to the racism, right? To the anti-immigrant sentiment, and it's putting people's lives at risk, right? Kids are being bullied in school. People's churches are being attacked. So words have meaning, and it's serious business, and he has no care about it. about the impact of his words, and I think that's troublesome.
Absolutely. Stephanie Sylvain says, Numa, great synopsis across the board. All voting at every level is very crucial. Lending your voice to who becomes president is important, but other roles are also key. I love that this was emphasized tonight. Thank you, Stephanie. Raymond, has Vice President Kamala Harris taken any stance or actions in response to the reported inhumane, my comment is being covered. Are you saying deportation?
Expulsion.
Expulsion. Okay, expulsion of Haitians from the Dominican Republic.
Great question.
Yes, the situation in the DR is unjust, in my opinion. I'm not sure if the vice president has waded in that situation. Obviously, it's a different country.
Yeah.
I know that as Haitians, we have to push back against that because these are our brothers and sisters that are seeking a better livelihood in the DR that are being mistreated. So I think we have a responsibility. But to answer the question, I'm not sure, or at least I haven't heard the vice president offer her opinion on this matter. But I know that it's something that we have to pay attention to in terms of the mass deportation that the Dominican Republic is undertaken in terms of deporting, I think, upward of 10,000 Haitians per week. And when we think about the contribution of Haitians have done in the Dominican Republic in key sectors, in construction, in agriculture, in tourism, in hospitality, even in professional life, Haitians have played a key role, but yet they've been subject to racism, to discrimination.
In law enforcement, look at Ralph here.
Yeah, that's right, Ralph. How are you, sir?
Hey, how you guys doing? Can you hear me?
Yes.
May I say a few words?
Please.
Okay. I actually was in the Dominican Republic last week. I go there quite often, and upon returning last week, I called Edwidge, and I vented to her about things that she's been telling me forever. And I got to give her credit. But however, I was not in a position to see what she was talking about until I left the Capitol and started going outside of the Capitol and saw what was going on. A lot of what's currently happening in the Dominican Republic is happening mainly outside of the city, outside of the mainstream, and which makes it even harder to curtail because there's less supervision on it because it's on the outskirts. And to say a few things about that situation, I think, and please allow me to finish, both sides are responsible, and I'm going to explain why. We have yet to hear anything from our government in response to that. And as long as we remain quiet, it's going to keep happening because the Dominicans really don't care about us. Abinader has a major issue right now at the beginning of his second term because the economy is not as great as people think it is. Dominicans are suffering. Prices are going up. And Abinader is using that type of diversion to appease his people. Basically, he's shifting them to look over here instead of looking at the bigger picture. And how are they doing it? And that's the part that really bothers me when I saw my brothers and sisters living in fear. You have Haitians in their homes who do not leave their house because they know stepping outside, they're on their way to Port-au-Prince, to the capital with whatever they have on and leaving everybody and everything they have behind. And how are they doing it? They are not, please forgive me, they are not issuing visas or renewing visas, even slowing down the renewing cedula, which is the residence card of Haitians. So they're placing Haitians in an illegal position to deport them. That bothers me. It really got to me because they're pushing us in a corner to justify their movement. However, while we are decrying that, we also need to stay on top of our people. Reason why I'm saying that, currently we have Leslie Voltaire as the president of the country because he's the head. It's his time to be in charge of the Conseil présidentiel de transition.
Mm-hmm.
He has an issue. He has prostate cancer. Where did he ask for permission for passage to receive medical care? In the Dominican Republic. Therefore, people will think that you are biased. Your decisions will not be solely for the Haitian people, but you have your own personal gain. You see what I'm saying? So we have to fight two fights at the same time. It's hard to do, but I think meeting like this starts the conversation. And I'm glad that, you know, I was invited by Edwidge to be a part of you guys. I'm proud of it. I'm happy to be here. Advise me anytime you're having the next meeting. I'll create time to join. But we have two fights. We have a fight abroad. We have a fight at home. And on top of that, in the international community, we also have to start putting this out there. It is out, but formally. Go to radio stations, try to go to TV stations, bring it out to the population. Unfortunately, by asking if the vice president has commented or done anything about that subject, it's the timing is not for that. Election, she's trying to win an election. She is not going to stick her hand in that situation right now. When she wins that election, maybe
we can talk to them.
Right now, politics being played.
Thank you. Thank you so much for those remarks, Ralph. I think that's a perfect segue to our next segment, which is a call to action. So, Irma, I'm going to turn it over to you to let us know what can we do? What are some opportunities that are currently available so that we can support and get Kamala Harris in the White House?
Yeah.
Well, keep her in the White House. She's already there, but as president.
Promote her.
Yes.
That's right.
Yes, thank you so much. I did a lot of research to try to prepare for tonight. And Alain Joinville, who's the Director of Communication and Strategy Program from the Office of Immigrant Affairs, gave me a wealth of information about all these different voting. Even Numa, I called them. I know I badgered them so much
Okay.
with questions and information seeking. And they provide a lot of information that I will forward to all the local churches, businesses that I know of that I have an email address to try to mobilize, even if we took on this very late in the game. So I will forward this information to our community. If anybody knows anybody that needs Creole application, we have them. The Office of Immigrant Affairs provided all these different pamphlets that are in Creole. Pour moun ki pa pale Creole, puis moun ki pa pale anglais, excusez-moi, pour nous capable comprendre ça n'a fait ya, pour nous connaître qui ça n'a fait ya, qui jan l'important. One other thing that Alain gave me was, let's see if I can find it. One thing that Alan gave me was a timeline to do what we need to do. I believe in Pennsylvania, the 21st of this month is the deadline for voting. Also the 29th of this month is the last day for us to send our ballot in by mail. So I don't see my pamphlet, but I will share it later on with everybody else. Let me try to share my screen to show you guys an article that I ran into. I ran into this article, which I thought speaks volume. Can you guys see it?
Yes.
Okay. This article is by Gypsy Collado. The title of the article is Haitian American are gifted mobilizers. And the proof is in the pudding. Look at us.
Beautiful.
Look at us. I think a lot of time, many time, we don't know our value. We're so hard on ourselves. We're so hard on our fellow Haitians. We don't give us enough credit for all the things that we do. Some people want to focus the attention on the negative things that a few Haitians are doing as opposed to us as a whole. And we need to get out of that habit because every nation has good and bad people, and we're not any different. The title of the article is If Haitian Americans Clap Back at the Ballot Box, Here's How It Could Cost Trump a Battleground State. This is so important when we think we're not enough, our vote don't mean anything. I especially hear young people say these things. That don't mean anything. We don't vote, the government do whatever they want. And we need to coach them and pay attention to what they're saying so that we can guide them. Because, 21, 22, 18 that are getting ready to vote, they think they know it all due to what they see on social media and how their friends are stalking. It's our responsibility to guide them back to what's good and explain to them how is it going to help us. And I highlighted a few things too. I'm going to try to go over them real quickly. Although the spotlight is on a few thousands non-voting Haitian immigrants in a small Midwest town, the United States is home to hundreds of thousands of eligible citizen voters of Haitian descent. I think we know that. I was surprised to see that the media knows it, yet they don't talk about these things. They talk about the bad stuff. I was so tired of hearing about Trump says what we are. It just amazed me. The second largest Black immigrant group in the US, with a population of 1.15 million, and that's underrepresented. Can you imagine if all of us were to be voting? Can you imagine the impact? Même si yo ta vle ouvert bouche yo puis yo ta djoun bagay de nou, si nou te pran droit sa au sérieux pour nous voter avec li, yo ta respecté nou. Of that figure, some 856 are U.S. citizens, including 632 eligible voters, according to census data 2023. Nou pa vle participer nan rien. Nou pa vle participer nou pa participer nan census yo pran, nou gon perez, sak fe moun pe, sak fonse de bagay nou pa même besoin pe, parce que son quand yo besoin, nous là, c'est pour yo konnen nous là. Yo konnen nous là déjà. So, grand pile éducation qui pour fait dans société nous haïtienne nous.
Irma?
Yes.
Can I add something to back up what you're saying?
Mm-hmm.
To show the seriousness of what you're sharing with us.
Mm-hmm.
11,000 votes here in the state of Georgia, where I am, gave Biden that election. 11,000.
Yeah, they mentioned that here too.
Just 11,000. That is very small. This is where vote matters. And I tell people that voting matters.
Yeah.
11,000 vote. That's all I have to say.
Yes. The migration patterns over the past decades put put tens of thousands of Haitians in the several states that were won by razor-thin margin in 2020. That's what you just said. Razor-thin. So, si nous pensons 10 moun en plus, nous pran avec nous al voter ensemble, si nous chaque fait ça, si nous chaque frappe dans 10 spots, encourager, si c'est employé ou gagné, si c'est fidèle ou gagné, encourager yo, ba ou éducation yo capable connaître que nous besoin aide, nous besoin présence, nous commencer montrer combien que nous y est ici vraiment vrai. Here's Georgia. President Biden won the state by a mere 12,700 votes in 2020 in Georgia, which is fewer than Georgia's eligible Haitian American voters population of about 20,000. So imagine our little vote that they say don't matter. And Georgia is going through so much. They tried to suppress the vote. S'il pas important, mes amis, yo pas porter attention à lui comme ça.
Irma, forgive me to jump in. You know how the Republican-controlled legislature in the state of Georgia, which actually is less than 5 minutes away from where I'm sitting right now, they've changed the rules to cater to the Republicans and ensure that they win at the ballot box. Do you know that they made it even illegal for you to bring water to people standing in line waiting to vote? If you go out and bring water to someone who's in the sun waiting to vote, you're getting arrested.
So, yo sérieux pour yo capable avancer. Alan has a raised hand. Go ahead, Alan.
Hey, evening, everyone. Thank you for joining tonight. I think this is a really important conversation. For purposes of my job, I have to say I'm here in a nonpartisan aspect. Just hoping that everyone, again, educates themselves on the issues, do your own research, but also you can call and contact the local offices for each presidential election and, ask them questions, They want your vote. Pennsylvania specifically and Georgia and many other states are swing states. So it's really going to come down to probably a few percentage points. So I don't know if you guys have been watching how many times the Trump election has been to Philadelphia and the Pennsylvania area, as well as Kamala election. I think Kamala is going to be here again this Wednesday in Philadelphia area. So the votes in this area are very important and going to be important to who wins the White House. Also, I put in the chat, for those in Philadelphia, the website for the election information. So it gives you all the deadlines for, the last day to register, the last day to send in your mail-in ballot. And also for those in Philadelphia, like Irma said, you can get a lot of this information in Haitian Creole. It's already translated, so you just need to make the request. If you have people who need to, or are just more comfortable in reading the information in Haitian Creole. And lastly, I'll just say to share and invite your family and friends or whatever organizations you're part of to get informed and to vote. Well, the one other last thing is that, voting matters, especially on the with this presidential election, but everything you do, whether you're a small business owner, whether you're a pastor, all these local laws impact you that are made by politicians. And so it's in your best interest to register to vote and get informed. And, there are rallies, don't only ask questions here, but go to these campaign events and ask questions there too. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Yes. So therefore, what can we do? What are we going to do once we leave here? I can suggest a few things to do. And I need your commitment. Just you guys are the leaders in your community. Let's take the word out there and really push it because I'm going to do that. Unfortunately, I have to go to a conference in Orlando next week, but I will have my computer to try to email this Zoom video to the pastors, the business owners, everybody in my community, in my circle. And I suggest that you help me push it out around as well. If they need information, I have all the pamphlet from Alain and Numa. I can share with you guys all the information. My Juju's daughter works for Hakeem Jean-Louis, Hakeem, the New York State representative. Juju, can you tell me his title, please? And his
the minority leader, Hakeem Jeffrey.
Hakeem Jeffrey. I wish OC was here to talk about them a little bit. OC
Is still celebrating.
Of course, it's a birthday. OC works for him, and OC was telling me that we can go to KamalaHarris.org, and they have a list of things. I needed some signs for my front lawn. I made an appointment and went to downtown Center City and picked up my signs, and I bought some for my and they need help. They need help to get on the phone. They need help to Numa gave me a number to give people that want to make a few $100 for doing every week for the election. They will give you a little stipend to do the legwork and knock on people's door. I will forward all this information to you guys. I did post it on Facebook to try to get people to call, and there's a lot of people that are not working that can be making some money temporarily. So spread the word for us, and we don't even have to connect with other people or connect with the thing. It would be nice because they'll have the numbers and they'll know who you are and who's helping. But it doesn't cost us anything to knock on the door next door to your neighbors, Haitian elders that we know that may not even be thinking about voting. Let's encourage them to go out and vote. We have too many people that can vote that are not voting. And when we open our mouth, if we're not voting, they know that we're not active in the community. We're not engaged in the community. We cannot afford not to be engaged in politics anymore. I think that's all I have.
Okay.
Wonderful.
Go ahead.
So are we closing now, or I see we have a network section? How did you want to?
Yeah, if anybody wants to stay and add anything else, the floor's open for you guys.
I'll put my contact in the chat if anyone has any sort of like follow-up questions, or if they want to get in contact with me, please feel free to do so.
Awesome.
Thank you so much, Numa, for your time. So as we come to the close of this evening's virtual rally, we first of all want to take a moment to thank all of you for participating tonight. We also want to thank the visionary, Irma Wilson, as well as our guest speaker for making this happen. Remember, everyone, the fight does not end here. Our votes are important, and we need to do our part to encourage everyone that we know to go out and vote as well. And so as we leave tonight, let's commit to taking action, not only for ourselves, but for the future of our families, our Haitian community, and our country. Thank you all. God bless you, and have a wonderful evening.
Just before we leave, It's just, I have someone listening while we are talking. I am Edwidge, Irma's cousin. And the question they keep asking me, how is that going to help Haiti? Do you guys know if electing Kamala Harris will help Haiti? I don't think it has nothing to do directly with Haiti because we are here. For me, I'm here in the state. I need to secure that part. Granted, Haiti, whatever's happening with Haiti, maybe over here we are responsible some part. But this is a question what was the question? If we elected Kamala Harris, how is it going to be beneficial for Haiti? Anyone?
So, I just want to say this, just on the piece about immigration. There are folks who have been on TPS since the first made that earthquake back in 2010.
In 2010, that's right.
And I
And-
don't think about immigration. It's not about immigration. It's about what's going on in Haiti.
I know. I'm going somewhere with it, so just bear with me for 1 second. So, immigration, as we know, is a big topic for the Trump administration, and they plan to keep on their promise to get rid of TPS and any other program that many Haitians are currently protected under currently. So just imagine someone who has been living here, they've built a life, they have homes, their children are in school. Imagine them having to leave everything to go back to Haiti in the condition that it currently is. That is going to be complete turmoil because a lot of us who are in the States right now as Haitians, we are trying to band together to see how we can invest in Haiti, but we need safety to be able to do that, right? So you have people who would have to go back to nowhere. Some people, they don't even have anywhere to go and would essentially be in very terrible conditions. We would lose those investments, right? We can't support Haiti if we don't have security. We can't support Haiti if we don't have the safety and the autonomy and the freedom to be able to put our minds together and to be able to make money so that we can pour back into the country. And so just think about it. You will never have one president who will be able to say that they're going to be able to help every single country that is not the United States. It's not really their job, right, to do that. But what we do know is when we look at Trump versus Kamala, one person wants to exterminate all the immigrants who are in this country, and another wants to create opportunities for the ones that are here. And so while neither of them have a clear plan for what they can do for Haiti, and it's really not their job, if we're being honest, we know at least one of them believes in immigration and wants to create opportunity for those who are here to be able to create a brighter future for their children and for others who are living in Haiti as well. So I think that's really how we need to look at it in my point of view, but I definitely want to allow others to chime in as well.
Mr. Numa, you are the expert of the night.
No, I think the pastor really did a good job summarizing it. I think that to the extent that we're here, we have to safeguard our interests here, right? We can't do Haiti no good if we're not comfortable here, if we're not safe here, right? So we have an obligation as citizens to participate in the process. There's that piece. And I think that voting is just part of the equation. It's not the end all or be all, right? We just can't vote and sort of like retrieve. We still have to sort of like activate. We still have to sort of like lobby. We still have to put pressure. I mean, I talked earlier about, I would love to see my community sort of like be much more engaged in terms of lobbying their elected officials to say, hey, I'm not okay with the conditions of Haiti right now. That's a problem for me. I want to see change. I want to see the policy towards Haiti to be revisited. The old formula have not worked. Our approach vis-a-vis Haiti has not worked over the years, right? I use the doctor-patient analogy, right? For years, the U.S. has, quote unquote, been Haiti's friend, right? Advising Haiti, supporting Haiti. And as far as I can see, it has nothing good to show for it. Yes, Haitians have a role, but I think the policy overall hasn't worked, right? So I would like to see a complete reassessment in terms of our foreign policy vis-a-vis Haiti. And I've been very clear about that to everybody that would listen, including the Secretary of State. So I want Haitians to be much more engaged. Voting is one part. Just because we vote for Kamala doesn't mean that it's going to be like a magic wand towards solving Haiti. I don't think that's the proper way to look at it, but it's just a part of the equation. It's like my brother in Georgia said, the Haitians that were very, very critical in delivering Georgia to Biden, right? So, I mean, we're a voting bloc, right? The first piece is organizing, showing them that we have X amount of votes, and what do we want in return for that vote? And for me, obviously, we want to safeguard our interests, but also we want to make sure that whoever is in charge of carrying out policy towards Haiti is reassessing that, right? Because I think the old model has not worked. So that would be my thing. I think people should be concerned. People should ask those tough questions. But the voting is just one aspect. It doesn't stop there.
Alan has something. Also, opportunities like this organizing tonight is the first step, pressuring politicians in long game. If we're not organized and constantly applying pressure on politicians, we won't get anywhere. I truly believe that when we put our vote out there, I agree with Alan, there's accountability. We have to hold them accountable. We know that they're gonna mango and sometimes they hate his friends, sometimes they're our worst enemy.
Mm-hmm.
So at least we want somebody in office that has the capacity to problem solve and think outside of the box. And Kamala she's ready. She's ready. She has the experience, she has the knowledge, she has the heart. She has the heart to do it. So if anything, they need to be thinking about the diaspora here, and they need to be thinking that we are coming after them. We are going to hold them accountable for our votes for them. But if we're not voting, we don't have a leg to stand on. That's how I see it. Yes, Ralph?
All right.
I was just going to ask you if you want to chime in.
He raised his hand.
Guys, what I'm about to say may be a little bit hard, but it's the reality that we have to deal with and address. There's not a single country on this planet who's out to do anything for you. They out for themselves. So we have this thing about us where we're always waiting for someone to come and do.
Thank you.
Or what is that person going to do for us? It starts within. The Dominican Republic, the problem that I have with them is, now, don't take me wrong, I have no issues with them protecting and developing their country. It's the way they're going about it right now that bothers me. But we have no friends, okay? Waiting for the US to come and do for you. It's kind of like the Kenyans went down to Haiti and everybody's saying, oh, the Kenyans are on vacation. Why don't the US come? It doesn't work that way. And let me get into it a little bit more. I am currently a police sergeant. I'm ex-military. I'm a former corrections officer, intelligence officer. Did 2 missions with the United Nations in Haiti. Guys, things don't work the way we feel. There's a protocol. There's a way things work, okay? And stop waiting for people to come do. Voting for either Trump or Kamala Harris, it is what it is. But do not choose a candidate according to what are they gonna come do for us. And we can sit here and weigh the pros and cons on both sides of either candidate, okay? We can sit here for weeks talking about it. But remember, countries do not owe you anything. No country owe you anything. All that stuff about what we've done in the past, we did assist with the Louisiana Purchase. We changed the makeup of America. Let's stop talking about the past. It's gone. Once it happened yesterday, you cannot put your hands on it to effect change. It's gone. We cannot sit here on history. Let's write new history. And in order for us to do that, we do have to understand where we came from, acknowledge where we are, and plan for better tomorrow. But we cannot sit here and talk about what we did in the past or think about what people owe us. No country.
I don't think we discuss what they owe us. I think we have to look back to see where we come from. We have to look back and reach back, especially if we are teaching people about us. We have to reach back and explain to our children who we are, beginning from 1804. So the past is important for us to hold on to. We don't want to say that we're waiting on people to do for us, but the people in power they have the power to destroy us. So we're going to take a stand and says, okay, I'm going to vote for you. It's a give and take.
I agree.
It's a give and take. We're going to vote for you. We need your support. We can do it alone. It's obvious we cannot fix Haiti alone. It's obvious. So we need help. So whether we like it or not, we need help.
Irma, there's a difference between we need help, we are working, and we need help to further our agenda and just sit and wait for the savior.
Yeah.
The savior ain't coming.
I agree.
It ain't coming. Okay? It ain't coming. I have grandkids right now. My grandkids, if we are going in the direction that we're going, si nous rete nan route sa, petit mwen pa pou aller mieux en Haïti. So travail là, honnêtement, moi senti que travail là commencé avec nous là. Et si nous te gen chaque groupe, vous comprenez, dans quartier ça, gon groupe qui font Zoom meeting à soir. Dans l'autre quartier ça, gon moun qui font Zoom meeting. La marché. Faut nous commencer à ramasser. Ouais, ça a fait là, nous recevons un appel, Edwidge, voyez invitation pour moi. M'étais supposé excusez-moi, m'étais supposé aller en patrouille, m'voir l'autre moun aller parce que me trouvais que ça était extrêmement important moi. Parce que Edwidge connaît depuis que le mette mon dossier, c'est que son dossier qui vaut la peine pour me rentrer. That's how much faith I have in the woman. Okay, she's family. So, si nous commençons à faire comme ça, après Zoom ça, objectif nous ajouter 5 moun encore. Prochain Zoom meeting 10 moun encore.
Okay, this was for Kamala. This was Haitian for Kamala for the voting group.
However, m'gon bagay m'a pas ajouter sous li real quick. Li kab un petit peu tard dans game nan pour nous ajouter yon série de bagay pour nous entreprendre une série de bagay pour nous réellement faire un effet dans prochaine élection. Mais gon bagay qui très simple que nous ka commencer faire. Chaque moun nous parle avec. Si vous senti yon petit gens a secoué, yo pas soit le voter, convaincre pour y aller voter parce que si vous pral voter on prend 10 aller avant. Moi prend 10 ou prend 10, nous commençons à ajouter moun. Est-ce qu'on commence à dire si nous chaque prend quelques moun dans la veille, mais côté que nous n'a commencé à faire une différence. Mais en pile, chay pa lou.
Gladys says, and after Gladys, I think we can close. Gladys says, greetings, my mic is not working. This Zoom is a great start to the Haitian for Harris for Kamala campaign. It holds the potential to have powerful impact in election to show Haitians Americans are stepping up now, and their voting power will need to be reckoned with going forward. More efforts like this meeting need to plan as part of the campaign and to mobilize more participation from voters as part of the spreading the good news. And we are better off with Harris-Walz 2024 tickets, not the one that called Haiti, the stuff hole, pet eaters, among other stagnation. We have been experiencing, Gladys has a lot to say. we have been experiencing, I lost my line. The meeting has served more a planning meeting. However, more planning meeting can be done before a Zoom rally for the Haitian American population at large as voters who can help multiply their votes by helping to get out the vote. More to say, we'll pause now. Excellent work. Thank you, Gladys. Moi, c'est Ayisyen. That's good to know, Gladys. That's good to know. Thank you very much. I guess we can close. Pastor Jen, thank you, everybody. Thank you for all your input. This is very important. This thing will be posted and share with people that missed it. Hopefully they'll watch it and gain something as much as I gain out of it as well. Thank you very much, Numa. Thank you, Edwidge, Ralph, Gladys. Thank you, everybody. Have a nice evening. Monsieur Flaubert? Flaubert. Monsieur Flaubert, ou très quiet. Nous pas attendre nous dans mute. En tout cas, share pour nous, fait nous connaître, fait tout
OK.
à connaître.
Voilà qu'on y a.
Oui, m'tando qu'on y a.
Yes, donc ça te fait plaisir que me demande comment on a frappé. C'est bien pour faire mon participer dans l'élection. Moi-même, tout m'a fait même geste de côté pas. Donc, continuez comme ça. On croit avec ça, on a bien succès.
Merci un peu.
Donc, ce seul bagage, nous pas dire mon yo. Si Kamala a monté, qui s'est approprié peuple haïtien?
Est-ce qu'on...
All right, guys. We'll be here all night, Irma. So let's wrap.
I am loving this.
Yeah, faut que nous de qui ça la bouffe tout.
Non, eh ben, ça la profit nous, c'est ça, Trump pas ba nous. Trump dit que...
M'ka djon bagay ke l'ka pou fri, excusez-moi, Irma,
Let me finish
di
my
kouzon
thought.
fait mal élevé.
Trump dit la deport millions of Haitians. Le paquet haïtien.
Kafel. Anou,
Déjà fait, il fait
Talem,
tout à fait.
mwen Ralph ap di yon bay, Coach Irma, just
Okay,
if I may.
ki sa la pou fri nou yon peace of mind, pou yon moment sou deportasyon.
No more chaos.
Parce que on ti stabilité pour nous respirer, pour nous côté nous camper, parce que l'autre monsieur tête orange ça. Depuis le monté, bon, depuis le ta gagné élection en 5 novembre, 6 novembre nous chaud.
Ah ouais, c'est pas menti.
Yeah.
Ouais.
Et puis nous sous-estimons Trump trop. Parce que l'el tap kouri première fois, moun di, there's no way that guy's going to be president. Li monte. Kounya l'el monte, et puis la fonse de action. Et puis le monde dit non, et pas veut pas faire, et puis il fait. So pas sous-estimer. Tout ça,
Yeah.
depuis le saute nan bouche li, rete croire que la fait.
Exactement.
Moi, pense lui-même, si li monte la fait dans le kingdom, côté que c'est lui-même qui va, parce que le petit bagay moun qui va le voter encore.
Oh.
OK, si tu vas le voter encore, c'est wa pays yo.
Yeah, définitivement.
You gotta think about this.
Avis.
Yeah.
All right.
Et m'konne Haïti son seul one day gen coupe gloure.
Non, faut qu'on vaille quand on ne François Divaler le bon petit tout.
Kounya nou pa gen Papa Trump. Et Papa
Trump.
Oh, il bon baby Trump, oui.
This is the after party. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Hi, guys.
Okay, bye.
Really?